Good evening, everyone. I'll call to order the regular meeting of Council of the City of East Ridge, July 10th, 2025. I'd like to ask City Attorney Mark Litchford if he'll provide our invocation and lead us in our pledge. If everyone to stand, if able.
Dear Heavenly Father, we humbly come before you with humility and gratitude as we gather here to serve this community. We want to thank you for the opportunity for this body to listen, to lead, and to make decisions that come before them on the agenda so that they will come together and make the best decisions. We ask that you grant them wisdom in their deliberations, compassion and understanding in their dialogue, and integrity in the actions that they take. We would ask that you allow that their communications reflect fairness, respect, and the deep concern for the welfare of every citizen in this city. And we thank you for all the opportunity to come to choose to serve and to protect this city. And I pray that this council's effort tonight brings progress, peace, and prosperity to our city. We humbly pray in your name, Jesus. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Mayor Williams,
Here.
Vice Mayor Tyler, Councilmember Cagle,
Here.
Councilmember Ezell,
Here.
Councilmember Witt,
Here.
City Manager Miller,
Here.
City Attorney Litchford.
Here.
Thank you. The first item we have on the agenda is the milestone awards. So this is where we recognize employees that have reached milestone years within the service of the city of East Ridge. And last month, Perry Goss had served 25 years with the city of East Ridge, and we appreciate his dedication and his service, as well as all of our employees. As I say regularly, if it wasn't for the employees, it would not make the city the city that we are. So we appreciate that. The next item is our consent agenda. That is the approval of the minutes of the June 26, 2025 meeting. Also, the May 2025 financial report. I assume everyone's had an opportunity to review those, and I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Ezell. Do we have any discussion or corrections? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt, Mayor Williams.
Yes. The next item is communications from citizens. This is an opportunity for the citizens to come forward and address the council with any questions, concerns, or accolades. We'll see how many we have signed in. First one is Gloria Thurman. Come right up right here, and I believe it's owned. We'll make sure if, either right in front of the microphone, either one of the microphones, please.
And then like,
There you go.
Okay. My
Yes,
name's
ma'am.
Gloria Thurman. I live at,
ma'am, can we ask you to speak into the microphone?
oh, sorry.
That's,
Okay.
we want to get you on record.
My name's Gloria Thurman. I live at 4219 Brooklet Trail here in East Ridge. And on Sunday, when we had the rain, the ditch that runs next to my property overflowed and caused tons of damage to my house and my car. In fact, my car is totaled from the water that got in the garage, even though the door was closed and everything was done. And it is my deed shows that I have, which I have a copy of, that there is an easement for the ditch. It does not say East Ridge, but it was my understanding from a plat at one time that you all did have an easement. And for years, when I first moved in the house, because I've been there for 30 years, just about, the city of East Ridge took care of the ditch. They cut down the overgrowth and all of that. In the last several years, they have quit doing that. And I've been cutting it down myself or having it done. But because of this ditch and all the water that comes through it, I ended up with like $100,000 worth of damage because of this last flooding. And that the water was going over the top of the bridge that takes me to my other part of the property. And I don't know what else to say other than something's got to be done about the ditch.
Thank you, ma'am. You want to go ahead and see who else has, or do you want to?
No, I can address it. Just because we have easements doesn't mean that the city owns the property. City doesn't own many easements within the city. The easements are for utility and for the city to be able to get from one point to another across your property. That would be the easement. Most of the drainage structures, ravines, and ditches that lie within the city's right-of-way off the road is the responsibility of the city to take care of. Ditches, drainage ditches, concrete structures, flumes that are in the rear or the side, outside of the city's right-of-way, is private property, and that's up to the city residents to take care of that private property. In this last rain we had, I think it was a week ago Sunday, we had 2.5 to 3 inches of rain in less than an hour. That is unprecedented for this kind of for our city. We're seeing this throughout almost on a weekly basis now, in North Carolina, New Mexico, Texas, with heavy rainfalls. But 3 inches, I don't care what kind of system we have in the city that's constructed, they can't handle that amount of water. If you go out, if I was out there on Ringgold Road and we just put 18-inch storm drains and catch basins in on Ringgold Road, you're all probably well aware of that. Those catch basins weren't catching that water. It was coming down like rivers. You could actually put a canoe and go from one point all the way down until about an hour after the rain stopped. That's an awful lot of rain. But that's what the city has been operating on. I've been here 2 stints. I've gone back into the records to ascertain what the policy's been with the city for years. The last information I got goes all the way back to 2012, where the city was not going onto private property to take care of ditches and drainage structures. And that's kind of where we stand at this time. Michael, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, Council. So having dealt with these properties for a very long time, I can confirm that and looking at Mrs. Gloria's plat map here, I can confirm that the 48-290 plat does have 2 converging easements on there, and it clearly states on the plat that the city is not responsible to maintain those drainage easements, and I'll be more than happy to pull the plat right now to verify that.
Most of it has throughout the city where they have the concrete structures that were built in the rear of homes and on the side of homes and so forth is on private property, and they're in the easement, but the city is not responsible because it's on private property.
That's
for
correct.
Maintaining them. However, a lot of these were put in at the time these developments were constructed.
That is correct, yes. And she is correct on a lot of times it'll say it in the deed. It'll reflect back in that deed a 30-foot easement, a drainage easement. It won't tell you anything other than that, but you have to look at the plat to decipher that. And it will tell you in the general notes that the city is not responsible to maintain any drainage easement. And that's throughout with any plat that's either recently been done, and I think this was done in the 90s, early 90s, I think it was.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
I'm gonna make a comment too, but I'm gonna go ahead and there's 3 others that's signed it, and still, if there's anyone else in the audience, they can come forward as well. But the next is Kathy Deloff. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Dolliff, and I live at 4211 Brooklet Trail, a private drive off of Marlborough Avenue. I live 2 doors down from the city's drainage ditch, which runs under our concrete bridge past our homes before going under the Marlborough Avenue overpass. It's approximately 6 feet deep and very wide, much bigger than any of the other sections I've seen upstream from us that feed into it. Our section was free of debris prior to the flooding, not sure about now. On Sunday, June 29th, the drainage ditch overflowed and flooded both sides of the ditch and down both sides of the street. This dangerous river of water was so high that at one point it breached the top of the concrete bridge. It was not safe to attempt to cross the bridge, so even if we wanted to, we could not leave. It ripped off sections of a neighbor's fence and knocked down several trees. If the rain had continued, it would have flooded our homes. I spoke with several of my neighbors whose crawl spaces and garages were flooded. My closest neighbor, Gloria, who lives next to the ditch, had so much water in her garage that her car flooded. Our home's garage had 8 inches of rain in it, and we had more than 3 feet of water in our crawl space. To repair the damage and replace the ductwork, crawl space materials, sump pump, and dehumidifier will cost us $15,000. My husband and I are retired and live on a fixed income. The money we have spent on these repairs was supposed to be used to replace our roof and exterior doors. This has been a very stressful 2 weeks, and I've lost lots of sleep that can't be made up. The rain alone could not have caused this level of flooding. I know you said it did, but it just doesn't make sense to me. We have had bigger rain events, and I have never, ever seen this kind of rain on our properties. According to a First Street report, there are currently 35.1% of properties in Eastridge at risk of flooding, which translates to approximately 2,971 properties facing potential flood risks in the coming decades. Channel 9 News broadcast a story on the flood, and they spoke with an Eastridge spokesperson or spokeswoman who told Channel 9 in an email what you said here, that Eastridge had up to 2 inches of rain in an hour, far more than the city's drainage system can handle. And if the system can't handle it, what are you going to do to improve the system? Because even though the rains are getting worse, so you need to do something to address that problem. Before, it's an antiquated ditch system. To me, there should be at least culverts in there, something that's going to help move the water of rain so that it doesn't flood over into people's properties. And I know I speak for a lot of people in Eastridge. We're all getting very frustrated with the constant flooding that we have. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The next, Brenda and Trey Locklear. Yes.
I am Brenda Locklear. I live at 3714 Sullivan Avenue here in Eastridge. First of all, we did not get any notice in the mail to come here tonight. Tori happened to stop by our house and told us and asked if we were going to be here tonight at 6 o'clock, and I said no. And I said, why? And then she proceeded to tell me that this was before this group of people. But the ongoing argument with my neighbor next door, and he himself told me one time he had trouble with depression, and I know he does. But he argues constantly the whole time. His name is Kim Sneed, Robert Kim Sneed, and he lives at 3712 Sullivan Avenue. He complains constantly to, not me, to somebody here. I think he's complained to the mayor several times. And he's complained to Tori a lot too. But he just will not leave us alone about it. I know that we need to do more, and we have set stuff at the road that needs to go out of the backyard, but we have a fence. You can't see through it, but a lot of stuff is behind that fence, but yet we're told we have to get rid of that. My son works a lot, and he has tools and equipment back there that he needs, and if he has to get rid of all that, what's he gonna do about working? He's been in construction for a long time, and So that's the grounds for the neighbor complaining. It's just too much equipment, whether it's wood or metal or whatever. He continues to argue. But we've got a fence up. He can't see. So I don't know what else to say. We are still working on trying to unload. But my son needs a lot of that stuff to work with.
Yes, my name's Trey Locklear, live at 3714 Sullivan Avenue. And I believe my neighbor, when he has these fits of depression, I believe he just looks for somebody to strike out to. And I just happen to be next door. And he very rarely says anything to me. You know, if he would just say, you know, hey, would you mind moving this? I would move it, no problem. But he doesn't. He calls y'all and rants and raves. And I just, like she said, I just don't know what to do. And it's a good thing Tori stopped by today. We were not even notified for hearing today. So, I mean, I don't know if he needs to go to Moccasin Bend for some observation or what, but he's had a problem where he lived before. The guy that lived across the street, he had called the police and said that some guy that he knew was sleeping out in his front yard. Well, this guy across the street knew nothing of this guy that was evidently laying there in the front yard. And I don't know how long later, but a day or so later, I guess, Kim's father came over and apologized and said, told him, you know, he's not right. Please forgive him. And the guy said, okay, fine, you know, no big deal, no harm done. But now, I mean, what am I supposed to throw everything in my workshop away? I mean, there's nothing there that doesn't work or that I'm not working on. And I don't want to, you know, everybody fills the landfill up with things that maybe need some resoldering or some screws tightened or to be cleaned thoroughly, and they want to throw it in a landfill. Well, I fix these things. And people bring me stuff occasionally to fix for them. And I just, like I said, I'm glad Tori stopped by today because I certainly didn't want to miss this meeting. And I just don't know what to say about my neighbor.
All right, well, thank you. We will have a public hearing when we get to your situation here just in a bit. So if there's something else you need to say, you can. As a notification, I believe someone from this party actually appealed the decision from the housing. So there was an intent, knowing this was gonna come before this body for a final review. I'm not sure about the notification. We can find out about that if proper notification was sent or not, but thank you. And we'll have an opportunity to talk again here in a little bit when we get to it.
Thank you.
This date, preference was set then. I don't remember what happened.
All right, we have one other that signed in. Is it Chris?
See where Mr.
Yes,
Allen
and last name?
cared about.
Harp, H-A-R-P.
Hart, okay. Yes, sir.
I live at 2015 Pioneer Ridge Trail. I own a lawn care company, and I was told by my neighbor that I'm not allowed to park my trailer or a commercial vehicle in my front yard or in my driveway. I just need clarification on what the commercial vehicle city ordinance is now.
Yeah, I will.
Mr. Al?
Yeah, so commercial vehicles at over 1.5 ton are not allowed within the residential property.
So even though I have a 3/4 ton Nissan Titan with a company plate, it is permitted,
That's permitted, yes. We're talking about commercial vehicles, yes.
so it has to be over 1 ton.
Commercial vehicles would be defined as, if you were to look at it, the DMV would be anything over 26,001 pound. We've discussed this before with the weight limits on these vehicles. Obviously, a lot of new vehicles coming out nowadays are well above that weight limit. So, but your Titan is absolutely fine. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's all that we have that's actually signed, but if there's anyone else in the audience that would like to come and address the council, Now's your opportunity, and you'll have up to 5 minutes if there's anyone else. I don't see anyone else. We'll move to the next item, is communication to council members. I'll start on this side, Councilmember Ezell.
I don't have anything right now.
Councilmember Witt. Councilmember Cagle.
Sir, I don't have anything.
I have just a couple things. I want to mention, we have a lot of upcoming sports, and at Camp Jordan, we have outdoor soccer that'll start on the 23rd. Baseball starts on the 2nd. Softball starts also on September the 2nd, and flag football on September the 6th. Registration is open at this point, so we're getting ready for late summer and fall sports. So I want to mention that. Also, you'll hear me each council meeting talk about our Great Fall Festival. It's going to be 2 days this year. It's going to be September the 27th from 10 to 5, which is a Saturday, and Sunday, September the 28th from 11 to 4. There's going to be a lot of petting zoo, kids corner, pumpkin patch, a lot of craft vendors, food court. It's going to be a great event, and a lot of turnout. It's the reason that's actually been expanded to 2 full days. So looking forward to that. I'll now hand it to City Manager Miller.
Thank you, Mayor Williams. Just a couple updates on some of our projects. The North Mac Smith widening project, all the drainage is completed from the north side, on the east side of North Mac Smith, all the way down where the Budgetel is, all the way up to Slater Road on the east side. That is just about completed. Curb and gutter is scheduled to be constructed on starting Monday, July 14th, next Monday, weather permitting. All electrical conduit on the east side to the Budgetel is complete, and all 5 crossings of the drainage from the east to the west side is complete. So that project is moving along. Regarding the venue 1921 at East Ridge, that's our 12,000 square foot multi-purpose facility. The high bay roofing over the main event area, that should be completed by tomorrow. Installation of the ductwork in the event hall is about 50% complete. Piping contractor has started the installation of the sprinkler systems throughout the building, and the drywall has started to be hung in the rooms under the 2 low bay on the east and west side of the building, the low bay roofs. So that one's moving along. With the nice dry weather we've had for the past couple weeks, we've got a lot done. For the community center expansion, where we are expanding the gymnasium as well as renovating and the senior room and the kitchen. That's a project that we received a grant from the state on, 50% grant. Pillar construction started work Monday, July 7th. That's a start date. So they have 270 days from July 7th to reach a position of substantial completion of the building project. So we're looking at 9 months. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. And I did make a statement that I was going to make a comment, and I didn't do that during my communication, but I will go ahead and briefly say, I understand. I live off of Belvoir. I have a ditch 6 foot wide, at least 6 foot deep, that water torrentially flows through there when we have rain events. I've had a section of that about the size of a Volkswagen that washed out. And I contacted the city and asked them if they were responsible for it, and I was told no. I had to put 5,000 pounds of concrete myself, labor and cost into that. And now I've got one of the walls that's caving in that I'm gonna have to replace. So I definitely personally feel the pain as well. That was built by, I think when the subdivision was built, by the developers, and I was told that the liability purposes, the city could not put equipment on my personal property because they could be held liable if something happened to the equipment, or they damaged the property, or they got hurt, or someone got hurt. So I don't know what else to say other than I'm in your boat. I feel your pain. I've had it happen to me. So I will move on to new business, item A. This is a public hearing for ordinance number 1229, and we'll read that ordinance as well.
An ordinance of the East Ridge City Council to amend the zoning regulations and the zoning map of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee, so as to rezone the property located at 101 Kingwood Drive, tax map number 168E-K-003 from R1 Residential District to C2 General Commercial District.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Howell?
Yes, Mayor and Council, so the rezone request from R1 to C2 is to use the property for operation of the short-term vacation rental and a realtor's office as the primary business within the single-family residential structure. The C2 commercial district allows the use of dwellings within the structure as long as the permitted use business is established. Historically, in the area has maintained its residential character. A notable example is the rezoning of 104 Kingwood Drive from C2 to R1. The city adopted guidelines under Resolution 3715 support the careful review of rezoning requests to ensure new development is compatible with adjacent R1 properties and does not compromise the character of established residential neighborhoods. These guidelines aim to balance opportunities by taking into account the scale and form of new developments to ensure they protect adjacent R1 zone properties. These guidelines emphasize the importance of preserving the integrity and established residential neighborhoods within the city. The proposed use introduces the commercial operation within with transient lodging into a block that is otherwise fully residential, creating a clear conflict with established land use patterns. Such a change could lead to increased traffic, noise, and parking issues, all of which are inconsistent with the low-density residential character of Kingwood Drive. Approval of this request would also represent a reversal in previous efforts by the City Council to protect residential zoning in the same area, as demonstrated by the prior downzoning of 104 Kingwood Drive from C2 to R1. The proposed change is inconsistent with surrounding land use and would introduce a commercial activity into a stable residential area. It may also encourage additional rezoning requests that extend commercial development further along Kingwood Drive, resulting in a gradual erosion of the neighborhood's character.
Thank you, sir. I did mention this is a public hearing, so I'll open up the public hearing and I'll give an opportunity for the applicant, if they'd like to come forward and address the council, as well as anyone that is in favor of or in opposition will have an opportunity to come forward as well. Yes, sir. If you'll provide your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you. So I want to, my name is Michael Zhang, and I'm the owner of 101 Kingwood Drive in East Ridge. I want to say, first of all, good evening to the city council members, the city staff, and neighbors here today. And this good man, Chris, he changed my flat tire a couple of months ago on the road. So very good resident. I'm here to respectfully request that my property be rezoned from R1 to C2 for the purpose of operating a professionally managed short-term vacation rental. And I want to be clear up front, this is not a proposal for a storefront, for a retail business, or anything disruptive to the residential character of our neighborhood. This request is specifically and narrowly for a short-term rental that is well-managed, quiet, and residential in feel. I'd like to share a few reasons this proposal is thoughtful and responsible. In terms of zoning compatibility, the property sits directly across the street from existing C2 zoning. This rezoning would not be spot zoning. It's a natural extension of the existing commercial district and fits into the character of Kingwood Drive as a transitional corridor. In terms of legal compliance and transparency, according to the public record, there are only 9 approved short-term rentals in East Ridge. However, anyone can go on the vacation rental platforms and see that there are clearly more listings than that. That tells me some operators may be working outside the bounds of what's legal. I'm not one of them. I've gone out of my way to ensure my operations are fully compliant with business registration, city approval, and professional oversight. That's why I'm here. I'm not cutting corners. I committed to this process precisely because I want to do it the right way. Now, in terms of professional oversight, management of the rental would be handled by PMI Chattanooga, a professional property management firm that specializes in rental properties. They will enforce strict guest limits, screening, quiet hours, and neighborhood rules 24/7. With required business registration, the City of East Ridge requires that short-term rentals in C2 zones be operated as part of a business. If this rezoning is approved, I'll formally operate this rental through my real estate company and will be registered with both the state of Tennessee and the city of East Ridge. In terms of residential look and feel, while we plan to make cosmetic exterior improvements like landscaping and repairs, there will be no signage, no branding, and no changes that detract from the residential appearance. It will remain a home, not a business storefront. Regarding parking and traffic, the property includes ample off-street parking, and we do not anticipate traffic beyond what you'd see with a typical residence. This will be a clean, professionally managed and maintained home that reflects well on the neighborhood and contributes to the local economy through tourism, taxes, and guest spending. By contrast to some of the other listings that may not be paying those same taxes. As a local property owner working with a professional management company, my goal is to ensure that this home enhances, not disrupts, the community around it. And this home has a history as a long-term rental. I've always maintained it, but now is the time, I feel, to take it to another level. When no one else wanted the house at 101 Kingwood Drive, I bought it and fixed it up. Anytime issues have come up, I've worked with the city to resolve them. Even now, with recent roof and demolition work, I've been in consistent contact with the city to ensure we're aligned on all permitting and compliance. I'm not an absentee investor. For the past several years, I've been living in Ringgold, just over the border. And in fact, I only moved to Utah, to the state of Utah last week, because as a psychologist, I'm building a digital addiction mobile app to help people with gambling and pornography and other addictions. And I moved there last week and I flew back today specifically for this hearing. That should tell you something about my commitment. I care about doing this right. Now, I may not look or sound like someone from East Ridge. I'm Chinese and I'm from Australia originally. But when I moved to the greater Chattanooga area over a decade ago, do you know where I first lived with my wife and kids? East Ridge, on Clemens Road near the post office, 5605, and I still own that property today. So while I'm not from here in the traditional sense, I do have roots in this city. And this property isn't just a listing to me. My plan is to make this a personal home base in Chattanooga when I return for business. I plan to furnish the home with my own furniture from my previous home in Ringgold, which you can look if you'd like. It's for lease at 1780 Windstone Drive. I'm not just looking for returns. I want a quiet, well-maintained place that I'll personally use when I visit. This is not just a short-term rental, it's also a vacation home for me. And we're even planning to convert the detached garage space into a small office so I can work from there while I'm in town. The home would operate as a business for compliance purposes, but it would retain its residential character in every meaningful sense. And if you look at the 104 Kingwood Drive example, you will find, I believe, a helpful precedent just in the opposite direction. That property was originally zoned commercial but was rezoned to residential in 2018 so the owner could sell it more easily. The city supported that change because it aligned with the city's plan at that time. So there is a precedent for flexible zoning decisions on this very street based on context and purpose. My request is simply the inverse. I'm seeking a thoughtful rezoning from residential to commercial, not for resale, but for long-term use in a way that's quiet, professional, and compatible with the transitional character of this corridor. And we also need to look at the bigger picture. Chattanooga is growing. A recent article on Chattanooga tourism shows record-setting visitor numbers. Why shouldn't East Ridge share in that success? Why shouldn't East Ridge become a stronger part of the greater Chattanooga tourism footprint? A quiet, well-managed vacation rental near existing commercial zoning helps make that possible without sacrificing the integrity of the neighborhood. There was no resident opposition when this proposal was last considered, and I believe that with the right understanding, there will continue to be no resident opposition because the nature of this property isn't changing. It's staying a home. If this were a unanimous rejection from neighbors and the city council or the planning commission from last time, I wouldn't be here today. But that wasn't the case. And respectfully, I don't give up. If this specific request is denied, I'll look for other ways to improve the property and contribute positively to the neighborhood and community like I've always done. I want to make it clear. I'm open to any reasonable conditions, use restrictions, or recorded agreements that the City Council believes are appropriate. I want this to be a win for everyone. Thank you very much for considering my request, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Let me ask first if there's anyone else in the audience that would like to come forward. Okay. Yeah, let them come forward, and then we'll ask the council if they have any questions.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, if you'll give your name and address for the record.
Pardon me?
If you'll give us your name and address for the record.
Yes, sir, Mayor. My name is Steve Fisher. For the past 29 years, I've lived at 1013 Greens Lake Road. My main intention for coming here tonight was to find out what Mr. Zhang's intentions were for this property. However, when I got the packet coming in the door and started reading it, I found out what his intentions were. I'm sure Mr. Zhang has good intentions. He couldn't have said it better. And I'd like to thank him for that. This is a neighborhood. If you want to open up this can of worms, you're going to open up a can of worms. And I'm going to leave you with one last question for everybody that's listening. Would you like for this to be done next door to your home? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello.
If you'll give us your name and address.
My name's Mark Casson. I live at 613 Stimson Drive, East Ridge. I'm speaking in favor of Mr. Zhang. I got to know Michael through his volunteerism at the YMCA as a volleyball coach. He coached my daughters for the last couple of years. But as somebody who lives in East Ridge and somebody who travels a lot, I prefer to stay at an Airbnb or a VRBO if I'm going to be somewhere for more than 3 days. I don't know if anyone else is like that, but that's how I like to roll. And when I do, I shop at the stores that are nearby. I eat at the local restaurants that are nearby. If you look where this house is, that means they're shopping at Food City or at Walmart, and they're going to eat right across the street at the Mexican restaurant right there or one of the other local restaurants. We are bringing tourists to Chattanooga. We have an Ironman that was just a month or so ago. How many of those people stayed in East Ridge? Well, I can tell you 2 of them stayed right across the street from my home because they're able to operate an Airbnb. And I got to talk to one of those guys for a couple of hours. So the idea that we want to bring people that are coming to Chattanooga, why not make a change like this so that they have a place to stay that's a residence instead of a hotel downtown? Or hotel out at the mall. Let's be honest, I don't know too many people. I'm not staying at one of the hotels that are right here in East Ridge. I'm either going to stay at Hamilton Place or I'm going to stay downtown. My denomination, the Presbyterian Church in America, brought 4,000 people to Chattanooga last week at the convention center for our General Assembly. Some of those people want to stay at Airbnbs and VRBOs, and they don't want to stay downtown, and they don't want to stay way out in Hickson. They want to be very close. And so East Ridge is the place. This is the future of bringing people and welcoming people into our community. They will spend their dollars here. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Raylene Casson. I've gotten to know Michael over the last few years. I know he is a man who gives back to the community. He has coached volleyball, as was stated before, for several sessions. He's coached soccer and boys basketball. And I know Michael has high standards, and whatever property he owns is going to be well maintained, and I'm confident that it would be problem-free. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Council, any questions with the applicant or Mr. Howell? I see none. I will close this public hearing and we'll actually move into the actual ordinance. You can sit down. Thank you.
An ordinance of the East Ridge City Council to amend the zoning regulations and the zoning map of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee, so as to rezone the property located at 101 Kingwood Drive, tax map number 168E-K-003 from R1 Residential District to C2 General Commercial District.
Thanks, sir. All right, council, we've had the public hearing. We've heard from the applicant and we heard from the city officials. I'll entertain a motion for ordinance number 1229.
I make a motion to deny ordinance number 1229.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Witt to deny. We have a second by Councilmember Ezell. Do you have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell?
Yes.
Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes. Ordinance number 1229 is denied. We'll move to item C, public hearing for resolution number 3698.
This is a resolution of the City of East Ridge, City Council for the City of East Ridge regarding an appeal from the East Ridge Housing Commission related to 3714 Sullivan Avenue.
Thank you, sir.
What we have, council members, this is all brought under Title 13 of the City Code, wherein you have a decision that was rendered by the East Ridge Housing Commission. That decision was issued back in, excuse me,
June 11th.
June 11th. That's right, June 11th. The property owners, Miss Brenda Locklear, who is here tonight, filed a timely appeal and has requested a hearing before this body. That hearing is what is called a de novo, a do-over, and so you are to consider the evidence that's presented here tonight. Ms. Tori Holder will swear anyone in that's going to testify, will swear them in, as they will be the ones providing testimony in connection with this appeal. The options for this body are, upon the evidence that you are presented tonight, are either to overturn the Housing Commission and remand it back. You can reaffirm it, and in which case the Housing Commission order would stand. You can modify the order if you like. The order that came from the Housing Commission is one that ordered the city, unanimous decision of the city, to a cost up to $3,000 to undertake self-help efforts to remediate the property, to bring it into compliance with applicable East Ridge City property maintenance conditions. That order was again passed on June 11th, and we are here tonight pursuant to the appeal of Miss Brenda Locklear. If anyone who's going to testify tonight.
Let me open up. I'm sorry I didn't open up the public hearing, so I'll open up the public hearing. We've heard our city attorney explain. Is there? Go ahead and proceed then.
Yeah. Who is could be presenting tonight? Okay. All right. Miss Tori Holder. What's your name?
Brenda. Trey. Brenda.
What's your name?
Brenda. I'm Brenda.
I'm Trey.
Trey. Okay. Trey Locklear and Brenda. Okay. Raise your right hand. All right. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
All right. So you've been sworn in. All right. Let's going to start. This is the city's burden, and so in this case, Miss Tori Holder will be presenting for the city with respect to the property located at 3714 Sullivan Avenue.
I'm going to hand you guys some updated packets along with the codes that have been utilized for this property and just so you can review.
Do you have enough?
Yes.
Ms. Holder, if you would, state your name, title, and occupation.
My name is Tori Holder. I'm the residential inspector for the city of East Ridge.
All right. Ms. Holder, what is your background history with respect to 3714 Sullivan Avenue?
So this property came before me the first time back in January of 2023. And at that point, it was for the same things that we kind of see now in the packet, just open storage, just the accumulation of things in the backyard. It was in Housing Commission for a year, or roughly a year. We did work with the property owners, and Housing Commission worked with the property owners to reach compliance. They did reach compliance after a while, but we got there. And for a while it was fine, and then this got brought back up again. I went out in April. It was probably brought up March, maybe February, March, back on just the Department of the Building and Codes, I guess, point of view and on their radar. And at that point, we went back out to discuss the same issues again.
Was that in March, April 2025?
I'm sorry. April 1, 2025 is whenever I prepared the demolition cleanup repair notice and had them sent to Housing Commission.
And members of the council, there is in your packet a notice of repair, cleanup, and demolition, which is dated April 1, 2025. Ms. Holder, is this item what you prepared in connection with your inspection?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Can you discuss for the council what you observed on April 1st, 2025?
Yes, sir. On April 1st of 2025, you'll see some photographs attached behind the notice. Those pictures do not do justice just because I could not gain access behind the gate at that time. However, you could see through the gate when you walked around the property. At that point in time, the only thing I could really notice or list was just the fact that it still had open storage on the property just in the backyard. There's a little bit kind of on the side of the property and in the front. Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Holder. Have you been back out to the property since?
Yes, sir.
All right. What did you observe subsequent to your initial inspection of April 1st?
So after the May 14th hearing for Housing Commission, I went back out a little bit later on just to kind of get an update. Housing Commission, along with myself, gave the suggestion alongside of try to let them know, we've got to really get this property cleaned up. It's becoming a problem property just to the amount of things that are in the backyard. I was very honest, and I told them that they were not going to be as lenient as last time just because we've been here before. I tried to stay on top of them as much as I could, at least in time notice wise, just to let them know the more time you kind of waste on it, you're not going to have as much time to get it fulfilled. And if we have to go back and there's not much progress, then they will order a cleanup. So at that point, it did look better on the outside of the fence. Got that cleaned up and it was managed, but everything now is just on the inside of the fence. When we went back in June, it was the same thing on the inside of the fence, which is why Housing Commission ordered the cleanup. Today I did go out to take some updated pictures, which you can find in the packets, and that's inside the fence, actually being able to see what's all in there. There's still some things that are a little bit further back that I couldn't see or couldn't get to, but
Ms. Holder, what happened after the May Housing Commission meeting? Or what happened at the May Housing Commission, if you recall?
at the May Housing Commission, they wanted to, it was basically a show cause again. Used to, we would have to wait 30 days before we could bring a property in front of Housing Commission. We changed that just so I wouldn't have to wait as long to get it in front of them. So at that point on the May Housing Commission meeting, they reset it and basically put it as a show cause. So just me presenting it to them, letting them know that this is an issue, we need to start working on this. And at that point, they did reset it in hopes that when we came back in June, that it would either be resolved or halfway resolved or come up with a solution.
And in June, do you recall what happened at the Housing Commission in June?
Yes, sir. So in June, when I went back and updated the Housing Commission, it's still not in complete compliance. There are still a lot of things that need to be addressed, and like I said, specifically behind the fence. Things on the outside of the fence were addressed, but it's still everything behind.
Ms. Holder, have you been out to the property since, or inspected or taken photographs of the property since the June 11 hearing?
Yes, sir, I went today.
All right. And have you provided copies of those photographs?
Yes, sir.
All right. And did you bring those with you?
Yes, sir, they're attached to the packets that were given to council.
Okay. All right. And do you have a packet for the petitioners?
I do not.
Let's give them this one.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's fine. All right. All right. Ms. Diedrich, let's make this part of the record, this packet.
I'm sorry.
This packet will make part of the record for the minutes. Okay. All right. Ms. Holder, can you walk the city council through what you observed today in connection with the photographs that you've submitted?
Yes, sir. So just looking through the pictures, like I said, there's some things on the outside which I was told today that it's going to the scrap yard. It just has not made its way yet. So the first picture that you're going to see in there, that's what that's of. The rest of the pictures that you're going to see throughout the packet are going to be behind the fence. Again, this is not necessarily the entire proximity of the property in the backyard. This is just what I could kind of get to. You will see that I wouldn't declare it as garbage and junk. It's more or less just a lot of items, household items, which we do consider that to be open storage according to Ordinance 1100. When we adopted the International Property Maintenance Code, we also added Section 302.10 for care of premise, which is open storage, which basically, to give you a long story short, it's where anything that you would not normally keep outside, anything that you would keep inside, it does not need to be outside. So for instance, if you look through the pictures, you know, it's one thing to have radios or a lamp or some sort of lighting, grills, but it's another thing to have, you know, clothes and not furniture that you would normally keep out there, things of that sort. Like I said, there's a lot that kind of goes with it.
Ms. Holder, is it your position that based upon what you've observed, both in connection with the Housing Commission and the evidence that you collected today, that the property violates Section 12-501 within the Ordinance 1100 of the East Ridge City Code with respect to the International Property Maintenance Code?
Yes, sir. I would like to also point out that it also violates the IFC, which is your International Fire Code. And that's just you've got some egress doors in the backyard as well, but you can't get to those. Also, just the amount of items that are back there. If something were to happen and a fire were to start, everything that's back there, I won't say everything, a lot of things that are back there is more than likely going to be combustible and it's going to go in flames. There's also a code under the IFC, which is 315.4. It's for outside storage. So any outside storage of combustible material should not be located within 10 feet of that property line. Even though Mr. Locklear's stuff is not on the property line, it's pretty close. And if something happens also with having a lot of the wooded area back there, it's gonna go.
Is it your position that the property owner has had an opportunity to remediate the conditions to bring it into compliance?
Unfortunately, yes.
All right. And has that occurred?
Not fully, no.
Okay. All right. All right. Council members, Mayor, the sections that are brought before you relate to the International Property Maintenance Code, which is adopted by Ordinance 1100, which was adopted on February 28, 2019, and that brings into play the International Property Maintenance Code, specifically sections 302.1, care of premises, 308.1, accumulation of rubbish and garbage, 315.3, means of egress, and 315.4, outside storage. All of those are the provisions of which this matter is brought to you as grounds for finding that the property is not in compliance, that it has been in violation as far back as April 1st, remains in violation. And Ms. Holder, is it your request that this body reaffirm the decision of the Housing Commission dated June 11?
Yes. Ultimately, it is your decision. Do I think that if given time also it could be remedied? Yes, but also that's kind of been given, and this is the last resort, is a cleanup. It's never my intention nor the Housing Commission's intention to go and have to conduct a cleanup, but ultimately, here we are.
Does anybody from this body have any questions for Ms. Holder?
I have one.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This picture here showing a big piece of white faucet, you know, that goes up under the eaves of the house. Is that blocking the entrance to a garage?
So there's no garage, no, sir.
Well, another picture I seen where there's a walk-in door.
Yeah,
that-
There's a big door that raises up and down.
I would probably consider like a lean-to.
It's a carport, basically.
Okay, so that part of it is full too?
Yes.
And what you're showing here on the outside is full? And then this picture here where the pickup truck is showing, in my packet here around the pickup truck over here shows it pretty well messed up, you know, garbage and everything around it. Then this packet you just give me, it shows it's pretty well cleaned up. So they are making an effort.
They are.
Okay.
But
It sure is a mess, but look at these pictures.
And Mr. Cagle, I will say there is effort. Like I said, there was effort on the outside to begin with. It's the inside that's now the problem. That's
Inside the house?
no inside the fence. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. and Ms. Lockwood, do you have any questions for Ms. Holder?
Well, I had a couple of statements.
No, you'll get an opportunity for statements. Do you have any questions for Ms. Holder?
I was just gonna say,
Ms. Locklear.
A workshop, and do I have to, does this include my tools and, materials?
Let's talk about that in just a second. Do you have any questions, or Ms. Locklear, do you have any questions for Ms. Holder? Okay, no questions.
I can't think of one, right?
Okay. Let's move it over now. We'll ask the Locklears, okay? Would you like to present your position relative to what has been presented here tonight by Ms. Holder?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, well, this is a workshop. You know, I have a lot of people bring me things to fix for them, and I fix them for them. I've been helping a friend do some siding lately, but normally I'm unemployed because of my back, and this is how I make, you know, money to get by on, is fixing things, putting brakes on cars, you know, just whatever. Jack of all trades, master of some, I guess you could say. And that's how I get by, is fixing things for people. And I have people bring me stereos, vacuum cleaners, air scrubbers, just anything. And normally it's a wire needs to be resoldered, it needs to be cleaned out on the inside as well as the out. A couple of screws might need to be tightened. Maybe a cord has to be redone because maybe there's a cut in it or something. And you know, it's how I get by. And this is my workshop. Agreed, I've got too much crap, too much junk, but there's no rubbish, there's no garbage. It's all materials or tools. And just a little bit and I'll have that truck working too. I've just got to put the front end on it. It runs fine.
Mr. Locklear, do you have any business license with respect to the operations that you're performing?
I'm just a handyman type thing.
Do you have any contractor license?
No, sir. And if I need to do something about that, I would be more than happy to.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. and Mrs. Locklear?
I was just curious, looking at all these pictures, where's the shop? You said you have a workshop with all your tools. I don't see it.
Well, should have took more pictures, I guess. That's all I can say. Do you agree there's plenty of tools?
I think there's a mixed use.
Big tool, I got a big Craftsman toolbox full of tools. I've got all kind of hand tools, yard tools. You know, my yard's always mowed. I take care of my hedges and everything. I've got a big 15-foot privacy fence. From the road, you can see none of this, but I agree that I do need to thin some things out. But I don't know what else to say. The tools are there, and I can take more. I can take some pictures and send them if I need to. Well, yeah. And I didn't look at those pictures close, but there may be pictures of some of the tools in there. I didn't look as closely as. Okay. A bunch of paint in my buggy here. I guess I don't know. Tools. Paint's considered tools. On the thing with the big 50% off banner, you can see on the right there's a big toolbox. This orange and white thing right in the corner, it's full of tools. The little cart with the white tray that's on the left, about in the middle, going up and down, that's full of tools. There's some wiring, more material. There's a couple of other things there that you can't hardly see, but they're full of tools as well. There's a milk crate up here on the right-hand corner. It's full of tools. I think the big gray tub is full of tools.
Council, if I may,
most of it is just tools and materials to fix things that I'm fixing. Like I said, there is room for me for improvement. No question there. I'm not denying that at all.
I was going to say, it's one thing to have tools and materials, building materials that you're going to use on every day. But there's a lot of things that are out there that are not. So I think that's kind of the difference. And that's where the open storage comes in. You know, if it was strictly just tools and things that you would use outside, I don't think that we would be here today. But there's a lot more to it than just that.
And here's a picture that's got this dress in it. Right straight below the dress, there's a table that I have recently fixed. The leg broke on it. That's about a 80 or to 100-year-old table. To the right, the Honeywell air cleaner there. I've got to get a screwdriver because it's got a special screw that I can't take them out. I've got the tip, but when I put it in my shaft, my screw gun, it won't fit in there. So I've got to get a screwdriver that's got that tip on it because the hole is so thin. The little rack down here with the tubs at the bottom left, that's full of screws and washers and tools of different kinds. There's on the very left, down toward the bottom, that's a washing machine where I wash my shop rags. Right here on the picture right before that, the section with the yellow bucket and the bag there, that's all tools, from there all the way to the 6x6. You can see my screw gun laying there. And you know, some of this stuff is not tools, granted that. My power washer, you know, a lot of times I have to wash things. That would be a tool, I assume.
Ms. Lockley.
Yes, sir.
Did you used to have a garage in this house?
It's on the other side of the house.
Yeah, it's,
Okay, so there is a garage.
yes, there is a garage.
So you could house your tools in this garage.
It's full of tools too.
It's full of stuff.
What about all these other
Had
buildings?
washer and dryers in there, extra, refrigerator, a table that's for laundry.
Um,
That's scrap right there, that's the scrap pile.
You've got junk in the garage you could remove, don't you?
Some things, but a lot of that's tools as well. But yes, there are some things that I could.
You could remove those, and
Yes,
these tools that you've identified in these photographs could be put into this garage, correct?
Most of them.
And,
I
and you've
don't know if I
known
could fit 'em
this,
all in.
and you've known you should have been doing this since at least April, correct?
Well, I thought that I was in compliance because I was behind my privacy fence. But evidently I'm,
Who do you allege told you were in compliance?
well, Tori told me last time I was in compliance. I guess I have maybe assumed a little bit that I had gotten everything into compliance, and I actually hadn't. I misunderstood, or
Ms. Holder, have you ever represented in any way that his property is in compliance?
Outside the fence, yes, for AHO purposes, because there was an AHO citation alongside of Housing Commission.
Right.
However, the last time that I was out there before the order was placed in June, I talked to Ms. Locklear myself, and I told her that Mr. Locklear had 30 days to clean out behind this fence. And if this fence behind the fence wasn't in compliance within the 30 days that we went back to Housing Commission, that Housing Commission would order somebody to come in and clean it up for them. I gave them enough time. I made myself very, very clear, because at that point, I can't stop Housing Commission's order. If they want it cleaned up, they're going to order it to be cleaned up. But I tried to give them as much advance notice as I could to get it cleaned up. So no, I never once said behind that fence was in compliance.
Mr. Locklear, do you have anything else you want to present?
I can't think of anything right now.
Ms. Locklear, do you have anything you want to present?
Oh, we've tried. He's put stuff up to the road twice, and he's gonna do it some more.
Yeah, all I can do is keep putting stuff out there, and it gets hauled away, and I put more out there, and it gets hauled away.
Okay. Ms. Holder, do you have anything else to present?
No, sir.
Okay. What I would do is move here at this point, that I've heard from the petitioner appellants in this case, and there's, if I understand, nothing else did you all want to present? Nothing else that you want to present to this body tonight, correct?
I just want to say that I certainly want to become compliant. There have been some misunderstandings. I can keep putting stuff out by the road, but I mean, nothing is visible from the road. My yard looks good. My hedges look good. There's no pictures of the house, you know, from the road. And from the road, all you can see is the blazer that I have there. Other than that, there's a big privacy fence and a gate. And I have no trespassing signs. I have keep out signs, and I have do not enter signs.
The only thing that I'd just like to add on that, I understand their side of not being able to see it from street view, because normally code enforcement, that's what they look for, is from street view. However, if I were to allow this property in particular to accumulate all these things behind a fence, then I have to let 22,000 other people do the same thing, and it becomes a problem. This is not the first property that I've had to clean up behind a fence, and it probably will not be the last. However, you can't set a precedent for one and not everybody. It's rules are rules, ordinances are ordinances, and everyone has to follow them.
I have tried to make strides in the right direction. Thank you.
So, members of this body, again, we have the Housing Commission order of June 11th, which by June 11th, there had at that point been over 60 days since the issuance of the initial citation. That citation ordered remediation of the property to come into full compliance. The property owner is still not in compliance. I think even the admission by Mr. Locklear, if there are items out there, he recognizes that, yeah, property is not there. Under the city code, you all have the authority to overturn the Housing Commission order. You can reaffirm it, or you can modify it. With respect to what the city code provides in Title 13, Section 104, as it relates to cleanup and excessively stored items upon the premises, this body can order cleanup at the property's expense by giving this property owner 10 days notice from the entry of your order, and that within 10 days, if that is not complied with, you can do more. You can't do less than 10. The department or person designated by this can enforce these provisions shall immediately cause the conditions to be remedied and removed at the cost against the owner of the property. And so that's, if to the extent that you want to reaffirm it, since it's a new de novo decision, it would have to be ordering that the property owner has up to no less than 10, you can set that date or time, for the property to come into compliance. Should that not occur, then the city can undertake the efforts to make those restorations, remediation efforts to bring the property into compliance, and any and all such cost will be taxed against the property as a lien payable through when the annual property taxes are issued. It will go on that tax card, on that tax invoice to be paid at that time.
Okay, so is that it?
Yeah,
Close
there's nothing
the-
further
close
to,
the- okay.
if they've confirmed they don't have anything further. Well, is there something else you have, Mr. Locklear?
I was just gonna say, so I need, is it within my options to get a dumpster out there myself and fill it up?
Well,
Within code?
this body hasn't made a decision yet, but I can tell you that to the extent that this body makes a determination that they want to move forward with affirming the Housing Commission's order, which is they're ordering cleanup of the site, this code provides 10 days for you to do that on your own, or at least not less than 10. I do not know what this body is going to make a determination of the number of days, but you would have an opportunity to make that cleanup. But understand that after the expiration of that time, the city, depending on how this order or decision goes, would come in and complete the remediation efforts at a cost. So that's, does that answer your question?
I guess, but 10 days is kinda, that's gonna be pushing me, but I gotta do what I gotta do.
So, well, let's, okay. Anything else, Ms. Locklear?
Appreciate any consideration for us. I can't help him. I'm 83 and I can't help him. He has to do it all himself.
Okay. All right, so at this point, this body could deliberate publicly on what actions you all want to take relative to this appeal.
Let me go ahead and close the.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and close this public hearing, and then we'll actually then move into the actual resolution, item D.
This would be now for a resolution of the East Ridge City Council regarding an appeal from the East Ridge Housing Commission related to 3714 Sullivan Avenue.
And so, to your point, there would be a motion to overturn, to reaffirm, or to modify.
That's correct, yes. And this would be the final act by the city. This, you can, I guess you could remand it back down to the Housing Commission, but the action of this is overturn it, remand it back, reaffirm it, or you can modify it by essentially affirming the decision to order cleanup and allow X number of days. It just has to be no less than 10 days
Right.
from the date of the entry of the order, which would be today. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now we're talking about 10 days. That's tomorrow's Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's all of next week. That's 6 days. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday the following week. That gives him just about 2 weeks, actually. Now, am I right? Because we don't count Saturday and Sunday as days.
Well, the code section says days. It doesn't say
Count
business
days.
days. But
Can't work days.
again, this body has
That's okay.
It doesn't it has to be a minimum.
ability to design the number of days. It just can't be less than 10 days. It's not business days. It's just 10 days. But if you have a number that you're thinking you'd like to, you can raise that motion.
So do we make a motion?
Somebody will need to make
Yeah.
a motion.
I make a
Well, hold
motion.
on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had, is this a question for me?
Nope, I was gonna make a motion.
Oh, well, go ahead, you can make
Oh,
it.
okay.
I wanna make a motion that we uphold the housing's decision, but give them 20 days.
I said 15, but 20's good.
20 calendar days.
20 calendar
Got it.
days. At the end of the 20th day, the city will take over if it's not
Does
done.
that count the weekends?
Counts every day.
Not business days?
No.
So the motion is you're reaffirming the Housing Commission's order,
Modifying to 20 days.
modifying it to allow 20 days for compliance. On
That's
the
right.
21st day, it will be cleaned up
That's correct.
by the city.
City. That's correct.
Okay, that's the motion. Do I have a second?
Yes.
That
Second.
starts tomorrow, or?
Tomorrow's date would be day one.
Give 'em 15.
Okay, so I have a motion from Councilmember Ezell. I have a second by Councilmember Witt. And to be clear, this, if it passes, this it reaffirms the Housing Commission that it will be cleaned up on the 21st day if you've not brought it in compliance and in code with,
Does that
Codes
allow-
Department.
Does that allow for my toolboxes and stuff?
you gotta get it in compliance. Get it inside a building, get it in something.
You gotta make her happy. 21st
You've gotta
day,
be
she'll
in
make her
compliance.
happy.
So the tools
Days make her happy.
needs to be inside a building, not out in the opening.
That's right, yeah, and we have the code section, the packets you have there, Mr. Locklear. It provides in there about, that's yours, you
That's
keep
yours.
that, yes, sir. And it provides in there about open storage, that there is not allowed to be items of which would otherwise be kept indoor. I'm paraphrasing, but essentially, you can read this. But items that would not, tools need to be taken indoor, okay? Can't have outdoor storage of items in and about the premises.
Under the carport is considered out.
That's outdoor. It needs to be in this garage that you have. Okay. Or somewhere other than where it is right now on the exterior of the property. It just cannot be on the exterior property. That's irrespective
Not
of
on the
whether it's
exterior.
behind a fence. It cannot be stored outdoor.
Even though it's got a roof over it. That's not.
A carport does not count as an enclosure.
So just so we can make this clear, so there's not any confusion, what I wanna see when I come back in 20 days is quite literally nothing back there. Maybe some chairs for outdoor furniture, a grill, sure, no dresses, no clothes, no nothing. Everything needs to be put away.
Otherwise, it will be removed.
No, everything needs to go.
Otherwise, it'll be removed on the 21st day at y'all's expense. Any other questions?
I just got one comment.
Yes, sir.
I know what Ms. Torrey's going through because here a while back, there was a complaint down here on the lower end behind a wood fence and neighbors couldn't see it, but it was piled to the top with rubber tires. So,
I
you know,
don't have a lot of garbage and stuff.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. She's got something that she's gotta control.
Make her happy
Yeah.
21st day. Gotcha.
It's just abiding by city ordinances. I don't set
It's
them.
not- yeah.
I'm not the one that write them, yeah. I do my job, that's it.
And I can call on you during this
You
20
can.
days at any time. Good.
Any other questions, council? Roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell?
Yes.
Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes. Resolution 3689 is reaffirmed from the Housing Commission's decision, allowing 20 days. On the 21st day, it will be cleaned up by the city.
Mr. Locklear, and just to Ms. I want to make sure that we understand. Do you understand? 20 days, that counts starting, day one is tomorrow.
What is that day?
I'm looking.
Write it down, so I know.
Tomorrow's the 11th.
I got the 30th,
What'd you say?
the 30th, 31st.
That's gonna
31st,
be
we clean it up.
Thursday,
31st?
July 31st.
July 31st.
31st.
If it's not complete,
Last day of the month.
not complete, the city could get on the 31st.
And Mr. Locklear, you have contact information for Ms. Holder, right? Do you have contact information for Ms. Holder?
Yes, sir. I do.
Wonderful, okay. it's the responsibility of the property owner to bring the property into compliance. I would encourage you to stay in contact with Ms. Holder and achieve full compliance so that whatever items you want preserved for you are removed from the exterior, put somewhere other than the exterior of the property, and in contact with Ms. Holder, and she'll determine, based upon her, whether or not there's going to be further efforts by the city to come in and remediate the non-compliant conditions, okay? I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We will move to item E, resolution number 3699.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council approving a variance to a sign ordinance number 1028 for the property located at 6302 Ringgold Road, tax map number 169L-J-004.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Howell?
Yes, Mayor and City Council, excuse me. Applicant Timothy Joy of Valley Signs and Surveys, representing McKell Investment Company, is requesting a variance from the City of East Ridge sign ordinance 1028, section 108, item T, which states if a legal non-conforming sign is removed, destroyed, or damaged more than 50%, any replacement shall meet the current standards for size, height, and setback, which would result in a sign of 9 feet in height, 2 sign faces, maximum size of each sign face 50 square feet, and a 10 to 15 foot setback from the right-of-way depending on the size of the sign. The variance request seeks permission to remove and replace the existing sign cabinet on a non-conforming sign while retaining the existing sign support structures and the existing electronic message board component. The new RB sign has been rebranded with new colors and slightly smaller than the existing sign. Therefore, it is not increasing the height of the sign of the already non-conforming sign. Current height is currently 30 feet, proposed height is 29 feet. And please keep in mind that the location of the non-conforming sign is situated very close to Ringgold Road, behind the Arby's drive aisle. If a variance is denied, a second variance will be more than likely be needed for the setbacks of a monument or ground sign. Otherwise, the ground or monument sign would be positioned at a maximum of 10 to 15 feet from the right-of-way, which could potentially affect the width of the Arby's drive aisle.
Thank you, sir. Council, I will entertain a motion for resolution 3699.
I make a motion to deny resolution number 3699.
Hold on a moment. Do I have a second?
For discussion purposes, I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Witt, and I got a second by Councilmember Ezell to deny. All right, discussion.
So you said on the sign, if this is denied, a new sign would be constructed in the right-of-way?
No, sir, what I'm saying is that if the variance is denied not to replace the cabinet on top of the existing pylon signs, then the sign would either have to stay as is, or it'd have to be removed completely. With the removal of that sign would enforce the 9-foot requirement and 50-foot face requirement. Now, the close proximity of the RB sign to Ringgold Road for the monument or ground sign, in whichever they choose, depending on the size of the sign, would require a 10-foot setback or a 15-foot setback. Arby's drive aisle is right there at that, so you would affect the drive aisle if you had to replace it with a monument or a ground sign.
So the sign that's there now, because we're doing over 50% work, would have to come into the new sign ordinance.
But because it's being removed, because it is a non-conforming sign, any removal of that automatically kicks in the requirements for the 9-foot, then 50-foot, basically the ground or monument signs at that point.
With the exception of maybe messing up their drive-through, would the new sign put wherever the rules say you can, would it be a danger to vision of vehicles turning left, right, in, out, any of that nature?
That I couldn't answer right now without seeing the proposed location, if this body would deny that, the variance. I don't know if site visibility would come into play at that point.
Okay.
So I have a question, but I'll go loud. Do you have a question? So I have a question, and this are you the applicant? Okay. So the reason for this replacement is the sign is currently not working?
It's a rebranding, is my understanding.
rebranding.
In the packet, yes, the old Arby's sign has actually been rebranded to a newer. It's got a white outline. It looks like the hat's been. Yes, sir. If you don't mind.
Yeah, come
it's
on
been
up.
Decreased somewhat. Yes.
So we're just replacing the top part of the sign where the Arby's and the hat is.
That is correct. The message center would stay the same. Only the top portion of the sign would be removed.
And it's going to be shorter.
By 1 foot.
By 1
yes,
foot.
So you would not be adding additional height to an already non-conforming sign. It would be actually a little bit lower, 1 foot, but it's still lower.
And then, so the message center, the rectangle box is going to stay the same.
Correct.
It's just, okay. And to the point, I think Councilmember Ezell was saying that if this did come down or didn't get passed, then only signage that they would be able to allow with the new requirements is a monument sign.
That is correct.
Ground sign or monument sign. And then it starts impeding in the sidewalk and or the drive-through exit.
So the reason we're doing this is the sign is neon, and the neon has begun failing. Our last neon manufacturing guy in town just passed away. So if we need any neon work, we have to go to Knoxville or Atlanta. So we're up against the wall trying to get neon repaired. Not an insurmountable hurdle, but just the owner was considering going to LED. And then there's some faces that need a little repair. The sign has been there since '97. I think Arby's has been in East Ridge since the 80s. I was born in '86. I don't ever remember an Arby's not being there. So the sign where it sits now has been there for almost 30 years. The two options that we have for the property owner is because Arby's has changed their logo, they're going to this new look, which is LED. It's a sleeker look. It's slightly smaller, slightly, I think, a little narrower, maybe a little wider, but just it's not as big square footage wise. Or we can pursue the option of just LED in what he has and replace those faces. For cost purposes, just putting a new cabinet on there makes the most sense. The sign itself sits on the structure the same way this one sits, with a match plate. The two plates come together, they're bolted together. So there's no changing of the structure, there's no changing of the wind load. All we're doing is simply upgrading what he has. So, and let me say one other thing. If they choose not to pass the variance to allow us to have the sign, this sign will stay like it is. And so we won't, he may not even opt to do any of those repairs. But it will stay looking just like this. So at least it's a step sort of in the right direction to let him replace it by going just a hair smaller. Is that fair?
Okay, so it's not larger. Okay. Any other questions, council? All right. We have no other, we do have a motion and a second to deny, so we'll have to do, we'll have to do a roll call on that. So if there's other discussion, roll call, Ms. Dietrich. Remember, a yes vote is to deny.
Councilmember Cagle?
No.
Councilmember Ezell?
No.
Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
No. All right, that motion it failed. So I'll entertain another motion, if there's one.
I make a motion to accept resolution number 3699.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilmember Ezell. Do I have a second?
Yes. I second it.
I have a motion from Councilmember Ezell and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Do we have any additional discussion? I see none. Okay, roll call, Ms. Dietrich. This is for approval for resolution 3699. Yes is to approve.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell?
Yes.
Councilmember Witt?
No.
Mayor Williams?
Yes. Resolution 3699 approved. We'll move to item F, resolution 3700.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council authorizing the city manager or his designee to purchase a John Deere Gator utility vehicle from Ag Pro through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement listing number 031121-DAC.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Scholes?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The Parks and Rec Department, again, is seeking council's approval for a budgeted item for a new John Deere Gator from AgPro using the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing. This will replace one of our older Gators, as we've started a rotation to get a new one each year to start replacing faulty and old equipment within the park.
Thank you, ma'am. Council will entertain a motion for resolution number 3700.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 3700.
Do I have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Ezell? Do we have any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What year is the Gator that's got the 6,300 hours on it that you're replacing?
I think it's a 2012,
Okay.
if I'm correct.
So if we're gonna get into a rotation, are we setting a year standard? Surely not of 13 years to replace a Gator, maybe more frequent?
We've been replacing one each year. We started the Gators last year and we started the mowers
Yes.
2 years ago.
Okay.
So, because a couple of years ago, I think we had bought one from Connect. They had one, and that was when Adam was in place. And it's gotten to the point where, I mean, we do a lot of our own maintenance down there. Steve
Right.
Harvey does for us. So we've been able to maintain most of them. But they're getting up in that age again to where they're 13, 14, 15 years.
That was my point. Maybe
Yeah.
we could start changing them out a little earlier than that.
Well,
We try to get the full use out of these because we've got equipment in the police department, fire department that we have on replacement, so many a year based on what the longevity of these pieces of equipment are. If they can last another year or so, we make them last another year. She's got 3 right now that probably need replaced.
Oh, I have 3 Gators that could be replaced and almost 4 mowers. Our mowers are at 7,000 hours now. I mean, like today, Steve was down there
Yeah.
fixing mower 1, it's got 6,200 hours on it. I mean, we mow 275 acres a day, so we use the Gators now, when we drag the fields, the part-timers use it to pull the trash at the park. We're using it to, right now we're aerating and we're using it to break up the pellets from we're nonstop, so.
Okay.
Our trucks have less use than our Gators and our mowers.
Most of the mowers and the vehicles, we have an idea of what the longevity of these vehicles are. However, every now and then you'll get a vehicle that doesn't need to be replaced. It may be 14 or 15 years old. But if it's still running and running good, we don't need to replace it.
As you'll see, the tractor coming up, it's 28 years old.
I've seen that.
She's still working, but she needs some loving, as Steve said today, so, we gotta take care of them and get another one.
Any other questions? Mine is, so it says replace. Does that mean this is gonna go into surplus, or is this?
Yes,
Okay.
we will look to surplus one of our older ones that is about on its deathbed.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell?
Yes.
Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes. Resolution number 3700 passed. We'll go to item G, resolution number 3701.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council authorizing the city manager or his designee to purchase a Briggs & Stratton 40 horsepower mower through the Buy Board Cooperative Purchasing Agreement.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Scholes.
Yes, Mayor and Council. The Parks and Rec Department is looking to purchase one of the new Ferris mowers, which will replace one of our Spartan mowers that has 4,327 hours on it.
Thank you, ma'am. Council will entertain a motion for resolution number 3701.
Motion to approve resolution 3701.
Second.
A motion to approve by Councilmember Ezell and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion? See none, roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell?
Yes.
Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes, resolution 3701 approved. We'll move to item H, resolution number 3702.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council authorizing the city manager or his designee to purchase a compact utility tractor through the Buy Board Cooperative Purchasing Agreement.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mayor and Council. The Parks and Rec Department seeks your approval to purchase a Massey Ferguson compact utility tractor under the Buy Board Cooperative Purchasing Agreement in the amount of $12,100. This is a budgeted item. This new tractor will replace the current one that we have that is 28 years old with over 17,000 hours on it.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3702.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 3702.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Ezell. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, Ms. Dietrich.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell?
Yes.
Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes, resolution number 3702 approved. That's the last item of the main agenda, so we'll move to the discussion of the tentative agenda for July the 24th. First item under old business will not be there. It got denied. We'll go to new business. Item A, well, let me ask the
If I
question.
may,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
if I may on this one. Mr. Witchford will be out of town on the next meeting of July 24th, so I would, since he is an integral part of the development agreements and so forth in regard to these two applicants, as well as the Border Region program that the city has, I'd like to push these two, the first one relative to JDH Company and the second one, ER Investment LLC, to the August 14th City Council meeting.
Thank you, sir. Any questions, council, on that?
Could we get an item on J.D. Helton, what is sold as taxable items out of a roofing company?
Say that again.
Yeah.
Could we get a list of the taxable items that are sold out of J.D. Helton Roofing that is taxable? Because I didn't think that roofing was a taxable item to a house.
The materials are.
Well,
The materials that come out of that order out of his headquarters, the supplies and materials are taxable. You have, when you get the bill for roofing, you usually get a breakdown of what is labor and what is materials and supplies. All his materials and supplies, when you order the roof, come out of there.
The last two that I had put on my own personal house, I got the itemized description, but I didn't see no sales tax or anything listed. It was listed labor, material, and no separate line item for sales tax.
Well, would they?
I'm just asking.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not exempt from paying sales tax. So whatever materials and supplies that come into his warehouse up there and are utilized they have to pay sales tax on it.
Was labor sales taxable?
The labor is different, but the materials and supplies, when they're ordered, have a sales tax to it. It's the same thing with parts stores. You know, labor, you take any one of the mechanics around town, you got Maxi Auto and so forth. All the parts that they order all have tax to those orders, but not labor.
Because they're buying them to resell them.
Same thing with the roofing.
Yeah,
They buy wholesale.
So that goes back to your question. The question was, can he get a list of them?
Oh, I can ask.
I believe that's what I understood the
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, that takes care of item A and B. Then we have item C, an unnumbered resolution approval of the 2025 Parks and Rec Athletic Soccer Field Equipment and Field Maintenance Supplies bid. Ms. Cowles?
Yes, at this time, the Parks and Rec Department has an open bid out for all of our soccer supply needs for the next year. That bid will open on July 23rd at 2:30.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, any questions?
That's a bid that goes through June 1st of 26, is that right? Is that?
It'll be
what the
July
equipment's
1st through June 30th of next year, our fiscal budget. I was behind this year on getting my stuff out, sorry. I got the sand one out first and forgot this one.
Any other questions? See, now, the next item is an unnumbered resolution approval of the 2025 Parks and Rec athletic field equipment and field maintenance supplies for baseball and softball fields at Camp Jordan Park.
Yes, the Parks and Rec Department currently has a bid open for the athletic field equipment and field maintenance supplies on the baseball and softball fields of Camp Jordan. This bid packet, excuse me. Oh my gosh, I can't read my own stuff. So it will open on, July 16th at 2:30 is when the bid deadline is for that. And that is for all of like our chalk, our field dry bases, things like that we need throughout the year. It's been simpler to do a bid for the year. And that will be for, again, fiscal year July 1st through June 30th of next year.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, any questions? So then the next item is the unnumbered resolution approval of the 2025 Parks and Rec fall winter uniform bid.
So currently we have our fall and winter season that's fixing to come up. So we have the bid out for our baseball, softball, and soccer. And then our winter uniforms this year will only be the indoor soccer jerseys. That bid will open on July 16th. And that is, again, only good for the fall and the winter. I'll put out another bid for spring and summer in December.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, any questions? I see none. The next item is the unnumbered resolution approval of installation of synthetic turf on fields 5 through 8 at Camp Jordan Park.
Yes, Mayor and Council. At your direction on November 11th of 2024, myself and Chad Ayers, our Assistant Director, have been working with ASA Engineering and Consulting and Baseline Sports Construction on getting our prices to be able to turf fields 5 through 8, and I left off in the memo the soccer stadium. I apologize for that. At this time, this total cost for this project would not exceed $3 million, which again was authorized by resolution number 3628, adopted on November 11th of 2024. At the next council meeting, I'll have ASA and Baseline here. That way, if council or the mayor, anyone has any questions about the turf, we can address it then.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, any questions?
Yep. I was going through some of the stuff by Baseline and on the excavation of the fields, the 8 inches and then 15 inches on the soccer. It says it'll be excavated and exported off-site. If you go to the next page under general notes, it says assume all the excavated material will be dumped on-site.
Yes, we changed that to help with their trucking cost, and I'm assuming that's just something he missed when he redid it. We have asked him in a year and a half to redo this probably 15 times. So I can address that with him and have an update for you on the next meeting.
So we're going to put all of our dirt back on site. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we can.
We have need for it.
Okay. Also, too, the drain system says it'll be discharged within 50 feet.
On which one? The stadium or fields?
Says the field under drain system will discharge within 50 feet of the field exit point.
So
Where's
on the
exit
stadium field, it will discharge over to the current drainage system that we have. And then on fields 5 through 8, they're looking at building that drainage system will go around the fields, and we look to discharge that over, I believe, into the duck pond. Is what ASA and them will do. That's what we're looking to try to do, or we will build a retention pond, which is back there. So.
Isn't a duck pond a lot further than 50 feet?
Yeah.
So,
But that's why it's on the soccer stadium. They talked about doing that, and then on the baseball fields, either doing to the duck pond, because they were trying to get that approval through Hampton County or us building a retention pond back there. He said he would have the final notes back to me by our next meeting.
Council, any other questions?
One other. So, when this all gets done, then we're gonna pay somebody from Baseline to come out and teach us how to take care of it? Is that the way I read this?
They do teach us how to do everything, and they give us the equipment to do them.
Okay. That's all I got.
I'm good.
Anything else? All right, the next item is unnumbered resolution approval of annual bids for street department materials, fiscal year 2025 to 2026.
Yeah, that'll be streets department. We've advertised for the bids. These will be open on July 21st. This is asphalt and other street repair materials, concrete block, brick, sand, mortar mix, crushed stone, drainage pipe, and topsoil and fill dirt. So they'll be open and we'll be ready to award them on July 24th.
Thank you, sir. Council, any questions? See none. The next item is unnumbered resolution approval of bond issue through the Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund to purchase a sanitation truck and a dump truck.
Okay, we need to, looking at replacing a F Ford 750 dump truck and include with that a snowplow and a salt spreader. We certainly could have used those several times this past winter. When we had some snow accumulation, we only have one other salt spreader that goes on the back, and then we've got kind of another salt spreader that's an old timer that you put on the back of the flatbed, fill it with salt, but you gotta keep going back and forth to get it filled up. And then a snowplow, we only have one, and we could have used two. So this one would come fully equipped. We're looking at $156,000 for this. This would replace a 2009 F-150 dump truck. On the sanitation, we need a replacement a rear end loader. The one we have now is a 2006, has 145,000 miles on it. We need to replace that. Downtime on this one is substantial. We have one that's pretty close to, we could get pretty quickly, and I believe the price is a little less than $267, but I want to finalize that price. So we're looking at two trucks. I'd like to capitalize that over 5 years with a capital note, and that'd be easier to pay for. We've paid a last payment on our street sweeper. We paid that off last year, so we can just keep that amount of dollars about the same to pay off the dump truck over 5 years. And sanitation would be paying for theirs over 5 years also. We look at not to exceed $450,000 at an interest rate of 4.45% through the Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry?
I said yes, sir.
Okay.
You said not to exceed $450,000, and the payment's gonna be, $102,500 over a 5-year period?
Yes, sir.
Well, that comes up to $512,500.
Got interest. Yeah, 4.45 interest.
So, if we don't bid before $150,000, how we gonna pay the?
No,
payment?
I understand that. I'm saying the money that we're asking for is $450,000. I mean,
So the money
when we
that
did
the
the last,
bond-
when we did the last,
bond that you're asking for is $450,000?
that's the money I'm asking
Okay.
for, yes. Not to exceed. Just- I'll have the final figures by the next meeting.
Any other questions? That's the last item we have on the tentative agenda.
Sorry.
Yes, sir?
I do have one, and
Something to add?
yes, I do.
Okay.
We had an accident the other day that involved one of our trucks. It was not his fault. However, it was down towards the south part of our city. Can't remember the road it was on. Do you remember offhand? Okay. Anyway, going around the bend, and a car was going around the bend also out of the lane and smashed into the side of our pickup truck. It was our sanitation supervisor. It was their fault, crossing over the lane and probably going too fast. Anyway, that was a 2014 F-150 pickup truck, and it was basically totaled. So we need a truck for the sanitation supervisor. Instead of going out for a new one, because the new one's going to cost, we costed out new ones about $60,000 to $70,000, and there's no way that I'm going to look at that. So we did find a used 2000. I didn't get the new ones. Was it a 2021, 2022 F Ford 150 two-door truck for about $31,000, $32,000. So I'm going to bring that to you at the next meeting on the 24th.
Minus what her insurance gives us.
Yes, well, for 2014, your guess is as good as mine. Probably a lot less than 10,000.
Good Lord, you get more than that. Sorry.
No, he's sore. He's sore.
All right. Anything else, council? Anyone else? Any other items we need to add, consider? All right, I see none. Thanks everyone for hanging in there.